Who took you on your first time?
My dad. He actually, I think I was 4 at the time. And he just dragged me along. It was a duck hunt on the Arkansas River in southern Colorado.
Yeah.
You're familiar with that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we grew up.
It was snowing and cold, and he always tells a story of how we didn't get anything. We got skunked, but I cried when we had to leave. I was like, did not want to go home without a duck. And
that's what you wanted.
Yeah. So he just, ever since then. And my dad wasn't a huge hunter by any means. He just did it occasionally, but I became obsessed with it.
Robin Hood and Little John are walking through the forest, laughing back and forth at what the other one has to say.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Ruck List podcast. We're just getting settled in here in the studio. We got CJ Sefcovic. Did I pronounce that right? That's how I've always said it.
It's perfect.
For a lot of years.
That was a good stab at it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I've always said his name away, and then, he might come in and be like, no, that's whatever.
Oh, that was spot on.
Perfect. So we got CJ Sefcovic, myself, Brian Trainer, and Tyrel.
How you guys doing?
Bubba Trainer.
Yep.
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for making time on a Sunday to come in and visit with us. It's good to be in here and not out there today. What a heck of a day, man.
Finally, though, it's been crazy warm November.
It has been too warm, right?
Yeah.
It has been too warm, and so it's nice to see it cool off. Good, low moisture out there. So we got some snow on the ground here in Colorado, and so just a little Sunday afternoon chat. CJ, you there's a lot more to you than I probably even really know, but I know you as from the working world. We kind of work in the same industry on the real estate side, but on the hunting world, you're a call-in fool when it comes to, is it elk and turkey, or are you just an elk guy?
No, I love turkey hunting.
Anything that makes a squeak or
I'm probably better at elk calling than I am turkey calling.
Yeah, well, you won. Where were we at? I saw you we were at a trade show.
It was the
in Utah.
No, that was the one in Colorado.
Okay, and you won that one.
The Mile High Hunt Expo. That was I took second in that one.
Okay,
that was the first year they did it.
Okay,
Bo and I were kind of in the finals, and he ended up beating me. But
okay. I like it. And you work with a call company as well, right?
Yep. So Mile High Note Game Call is actually out of Loveland here, so locally owned. And I just help them with all of their, shows and some of their marketing stuff, and obviously compete and use all their calls and products. So it's it's a great company. They're growing a lot. They've grown a lot within the last 5 years, and trying to expand that and kind of help them out. So
that's cool. Very cool. And then you had a baby recently, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
How was it making time to get in here and see us with a fresh baby on the ground?
Oh, it was fine. I mean, it's, I told my wife last week, I was like, do you mind if I just squeeze in a podcast on Sunday? She's like, no, go ahead. She's like, I'm going to, I have nothing to do. I'm just, we've just kind of been soaking it up last couple of weeks and, trying to be present. And, but yeah, no issues there. So
it's interesting as a new dad because you're ready to do anything needed, and at the same time, like you're not all that useful as a dad. Like you can hold the baby a little bit, but if mama's breastfeeding, and then you're kind of like the least important thing in the room half the time.
It's mostly just like doing the things that she would normally kind of take care of,
right?
Laundry, dishes, all that good stuff to make her life easier. So
helping cover with some.
But it's super rewarding. Yeah, we're obsessed with the little guy, so it's we're over the moon.
And that's your first
boy.
Yep. So, pretty cool.
Yep, we're excited. So,
and you have all those daydreams now of him going hunting with you, and all those videos tear you up that you see now of like the taking dad, that father son kind of stuff in the hunting world, right? I mean, it's
for sure.
Yeah,
like, it's such a huge part of my life. I know it's a huge part of your life.
Yep.
Lives as well, and being able to know that you can share that with your son one day is really special. So
you hope.
Yeah, you hope.
Yeah. You always wonder like what you can and can't push or where they're going to end up, right? But
that's true too. Yeah,
I think there's such a beauty in that daydreaming, though.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Even if it doesn't come to fruition, how you see it, I think
it comes. Yeah, sometimes it comes. To some people sooner in life, and some people later in life. So just because someone doesn't take interest in it right away doesn't mean they're not going to when they're 30, 40, and they have a son. So
who took you on your first time?
My dad. He actually. I think I was 4 at the time, and he just dragged me along. It was a duck hunt on the Arkansas River in southern Colorado.
Yeah.
You're familiar with that area.
Yeah. Where we grew up.
it was snowing and cold, and he always tells a story of how like we didn't get anything. We got skunked, but I cried when we had to leave. I was like, did not want to go home without a duck, and
That's what you
yeah.
want.
So he just I mean, ever since then, and my dad wasn't a huge hunter by any means. He just did it occasionally, but like I became obsessed with it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if their generation was obsessed like we are. Like it was always just like a subtle part of their life, the thing that they did, but it wasn't something that they were talking. I mean, maybe, but you know, our dad wasn't a hunter, so I didn't see it firsthand. But it feels like our generation has really taken on as like, this is a way of life. It's something we think about, we train about. We've kind of pulled in that like fitness and, you know what I mean? That whole all year long mentality where, you know, I felt like those guys would kind of dust off the shotgun.
Yeah.
And the handful of decoys and go out and duck hunt a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was probably a lot more casual. And if you know, for the people that, you know, took it more seriously, you probably didn't see it just because there was no social media. And all that
I guess that's true.
type of thing. So, but I mean, yeah, times have changed for sure. I think it's become a little bit more commercialized and a lot of people want to do it. And yeah, but I think that back then they just kind of did it for, I mean, get out with their, you know, brothers or you know, family and just kind of have some fun and get away from work for a while. So,
Yeah.
Around the holidays, family come in every year, get out,
Thanksgiving, like
sit across the field from the house. You know,
exactly.
Totally, dude.
it's not even.
Yeah, and the whitetail, like East Coast whitetail, there's always like that Thanksgiving whitetail hunt that we don't really have out here, right? But I think that's a big piece of that East Coast kind of family tradition is they would all just talking to my buddies from back there. It's like, yeah, that's like everybody go out and hunt.
Yeah.
First thing there's like on that.
And that's probably like the yearly hunt too. Like that's what you know, once a year they go out for a week and then, you know, the rest of the year they're just, you know, working or whatever. But that's kind of how my family always was. We have a rifle camp, first rifle every year. And gosh, the camp's going on probably 30 plus years. The same
really
people.
Is it up in the?
It's down in
area?
Southern Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, towards Gunnison.
30 years, huh?
Yeah. My grandpa kind of started the camp. And he doesn't go up there anymore. But yeah, it's just kind of.
Is that where you grew up? That Gunny area?
No, I didn't grow up. I grew up in Pueblo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Southern Colorado, but not in the mountains. But we grew up hunting that area a lot, kind of the southern mountains, and there a lot more. So.
Yeah, I got to do a mule deer hunt there in Gunnison this year, and I'll go back. I can't go back every year because there's not enough tags to go around. But holy mackerel! Yeah, dude, it was like everywhere you turn there was a deer.
Was that a 55 tag?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's a great unit.
That unit is
How
insane.
many points did that take you?
I think it wasn't mine. I was just an assistant.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
so I did a lot of assisting this year.
That's one of the top units for sure.
Holy mackerel, dude! And we weren't being real picky. We had a buddy it was his son's first deer, and it was really just about getting anything that was okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we weren't trying to go crazy. You know, shooting range was a little shorter than normal, but my goodness, I was like in Disneyland. It was amazing out there. So is that where your guys' hunt camp's at? Is somewhere around there?
Yeah, basically. We primarily do. I mean, none of us have really hunted deer up there. I just burned my deer points on 44 last year, so I kind of have to start over. But mainly my family mainly does elk. Yeah, but I would certainly like to.
But 30 years of a first rifle kind of
that's
rifle
so fun.
camp, dude. That's cool as hell.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, we just know the area, right? Yeah. We know where the elk are that time of year, and we've been hunting up there enough, and I think this year they killed 4 or 5 animals. So I didn't make it this year, just with my Wyoming tag. I was up there in October, but yeah, just it's a beautiful area and a great camp and a great camaraderie. So
yeah. Who all is that multi-generational then? So it's like grandfather, your dad. Is your grandfather still alive?
Yeah, he is. He doesn't go up anymore. He's 94, so he doesn't go up anymore. But yeah, so all, my uncles, cousins, and now my nephews and it's just kind of multi-generational now. So
someday soon, your boy.
Yeah, someday soon in 12 years.
Yeah. Do you ever call your grandpa and go, hey, we're going up to camp? And is he still in a spot where he can
he's just not
a little bit? Yeah,
I mean he actually has a cabin up there off of Blue Mesa Reservoir.
Yeah.
And he still goes up there in the summertime, but he doesn't really make it to elk camp anymore.
Yeah.
Not physically able. So
Yeah. That's just an interesting thing to think about as we're kind of aging out of, you know what I mean? We're right in the middle of it, right? Generationally, where you've got that generation below us and then the one above us as well. But just thinking about being that grandpa, I guess I'm putting myself in his shoes and thinking about, you know, knowing that your grandkids and, you know, maybe even your great grandkids are going to be in camp and something he started 30 years ago. Like that's a pretty cool legacy piece for him to.
Yeah, it's cool. Cause I mean, someone marries into the family too. Like we kind of bring them in as well. I mean, there's typically 12 to 13 guys in camp.
Have you had to kick anybody out of the circle of trust with that? You know,
haven't kicked anybody out.
Like
people have left willingly.
one of the girls marry the guy that you go, hey, bud, you're not invited back next year. That'd be a hard part of the family to be.
Yeah, it works out. I mean, we haven't had that, but it works out because it's a unit where you really can't draw every year. So, you know, with that many people, it's good because we get, you know, 6 or 7 guys that draw every year and everybody else kind of just goes up and helps pack out and just kind of goes up to kind of be up there. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you got to hunt with your grandfather then up there at some point in your life?
I haven't, no.
Really?
Yeah. He's actually stopped going up there before I started. So
really?
I didn't start elk hunting. First year I went up was, I think, 2016.
Okay.
And then I killed my first bull in 2017. But I mean, I didn't grow up big game hunting much. I was just a waterfowl guy.
There's a lot of guys that do that, right? They make that transition from waterfowl to big game.
Yep.
Yeah. So because you grew up kind of obsessed with waterfowl then.
For sure.
And then once you saw that first like elk bugle, you're like,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've always loved turkey hunting too. And you know, a lot of guys that archery elk hunt say there's a lot of parallels between turkey hunting and especially with calling. Right?
Oh yeah. It's very much like little tiny elk.
Yeah.
It's very the same, very much the same.
I won't say that turkeys are smarter than by any means than elk, but like, I mean, it's a lot of the same strategies you can apply to both. So, you know, I was always encouraged by my buddies, hey, you need to really try archery elk hunting. Because if you like turkey hunting, you're going to love elk hunting.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, gosh, I already hunt waterfowl so much. Like, I don't need another. I know I'll love it. I don't need another thing.
Yeah.
And finally, I was like, okay, I'll just tag along. So my buddy Thomas, he's with Mile High Note Game Calls, Tom's son. I went with him and kind of, I guess, shadowed for a year and tagged along. And yeah, after that, it was an obsession.
Yeah.
So next year I picked up a bow and went with him in the same camp anyway. And killed my first archery bull. So
really, your first year out?
First year, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that's
awesome.
rare.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, I unfortunately I wounded a bull that year, 2 days before I killed the one that I ended up shooting. So it was like I had my first year of archery hunting. I had the full realm of emotions.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I hate this or love this.
Yes.
But you know, I just, you know, when that happens, you're just like, gosh, I don't know if I should keep hunting or going. Like, luckily I had the D things up there with me though that year. And they kind of helped, you know, they tracked and kind of helped me with the whole process. And that was good just because I knew, I mean, between what I had tracked and what they knew, we concluded it wasn't a lethal shot.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
So I felt confident continuing to hunt. And then 2 days later, Thomas and we called in my bull and shot him. So,
yeah. Were you calling early on when you first started?
Yeah. Part of hunting with them is you're going to learn to call because they're super vocal in their style of hunting. So I kind of became the same way. Like I'm super vocal when I elk hunt. Sometimes I'm not, right? If there's a herd bull and, you know, a situation where he's with his cows and you're not going to call that bull in. So you know, it's the best strategy a lot of times is to put the calls away and do a sneak or something different.
Right.
But where we generally hunt is in, you know, over the counter unit, we're calling in satellites and smaller bulls a lot of times. So we do a lot of vocalizations. And that's kind of, ever since the first year I was, you know, calling. So
when you say vocalization, what do you mean by that? Are you talking, are you bugling a lot? Are you cow calling? Walk me through that. Let's say me and you show up in the woods. We're up here in unit 8.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, where are we starting? Are we looking for a drainage? I mean, we don't know what are we looking for a drainage or are we just kind of hitting every drainage and throwing out a bugle? Walk me through that just to help other people understand what your approach is there.
Yeah, it depends. Kind of where I'm used to hunting, where obviously this year was a little bit different because I hunted a new area in Wyoming and that area had a lot of burn. So I was hunting a lot of open country where I'm used to usually hunting a country that's really thick.
Yeah, Colorado is not, my buddies Wyoming or Montana, like they'll glass them up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got these bulls spotted. I'm going to go make a move.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't get to do that in Colorado,
No.
man. Like
No.
it's all vocal.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you might catch them up on a meadow, but you got to be pretty lucky to catch them crossing a meadow, right? In Colorado, it's like, it is thick. So
yeah, where we typically hunt, you're not glassing anything unless it's a timberline. But it's pretty much you're going all off vocalization and calling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why, we do a lot of callings, just because you don't really have too much of a choice. I guess if we're hunting where we normally hunt, what we always like to do is we just like to do a lot of, cold setups, to where we'll just spread out 30, 40 yards, do some cow-calf communication. We always start light and then kind of amp up as we go. You typically don't ever want to start out too aggressive.
So you don't just cop out of the truck or whatever and crack off a bugle.
No, typically not. I mean, and sometimes if we're doing bugle checks, we'll do them, after dark or in the, sometimes I'll do them in the morning when I'm walking in, but
like before the sun's up.
Yeah, sometimes. I like to locate elk at night after it gets dark, and then I know they're going to be within the general area the next morning.
Tell me more about that. I mean, I am selfishly just here taking notes.
Yeah, I just learned a lot right here.
Yeah, me and Tyrel are like, yeah. Keep talking. Can I show you a map? What should I do in this?
Well, I mean, I don't have all the answers either. I just
there's always so much.
Yeah.
Here.
But yeah, I mean, typically the reason I don't call, when I'm going in the morning is I give away my location, and a lot of times I've had elk actually come in the dark, or too early, and then either they'll be able to wind you. Even if you don't see them, they're going to wind you if you're not right.
They'll circle you and
figure you're there, and then you kind of ruin your opportunity for when it gets light. So I typically like to locate elk. If I'm going to locate elk after dark in the evenings, just, drive a road or walk up, a closed logging road or something, just try to locate a bull. Because typically if you put a bull to bed, he'll be in the same general area the next day.
Really? So they'll for the most part be in that same drainage in the morning? Yeah.
I mean, there's always exceptions. If they have a hot cow or something and they're chasing a hot cow, then they might jump a drainage or something. But gosh, I mean, most of the time they're spot on in that drainage the next day.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
how do you approach? I mean, you're going to then to approach that drainage in the morning, you're playing thermals, you're thinking about wind. And so you make a plan the night before to go, okay, we know the wind's going to be doing this, or it typically does X, Y, or Z. Yeah. I mean, is that the kind of first thing? First things,
you're always playing the wind. Obviously you're typically working downhill to uphill in the morning.
Yeah.
Just try to get the
thermals
right.
are coming down.
And that's
until whatever, 9 o'clock or 9:30. And then now we got to get above them again, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that can be tough too, because elk like to work up to bed. So a lot of times you're just, they're working up, and if it's a bigger bull or, even a smaller herd bull or something like that, they're going to try to take their cows away from you.
Just naturally. They're not even trying to do it on purpose. It's just, that's just where they're going.
So it's tough. So I typically like to get even with elk.
Okay.
I don't like to go directly below them, just because I feel like most of the time I just can't catch up to where they're going.
Even if they're eating and feeding, it's like, God, they move fast.
But if I can get on their level, then I have the opportunity and the ability to move up or down if they do different things.
Right.
So typically, if there's an elk if I'm hunting a ridge, I'll try to get up that ridge a little bit. I know that I run the risk in the dark of spooking something, but that risk is worth it if I can at least get halfway up that ridge and get on the same level that they're on, versus trying to just, catch up to them in the morning. And obviously, if you try to get around them to the top, then the wind's not going to be in your favor.
Yeah, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. But so, yeah, I mean, it's every situation is different. There's no cookie cutter answer. And there's a lot of podcasts and a lot of different tutorials, and people say, well, do this in this situation. And, when you're in a real world situation, like, it all goes out the window. And all you're doing is really reading elk behavior in the moment and trying to make a play off of what they're doing.
Right.
But general guideline, I mean, we kind of start by doing a cold setup. We kind of start out light, cow calls, calf calls, see if we can get a bull to come in solo. And then we kind of we'll ramp it up. If we get an answer, and he respond to our cow calls, we'll just continue to cow call.
You don't throw a bugle in if he's talking to a cow call,
if he's
you
responding
just leave it with that
and doing what we want him to do, we won't change it up. Now, if he's a lot of times, if he's held up though, or hung up, so to speak.
Right.
And we'll get a little creative. We'll start raking. We'll do some more aggressive bugles just to try to piss him off and kind of get him to, to come in and check us out at least. But
a rake is a really effective, and I'm the last guy in the world that people should listen to. But I mean, I've been in the woods a lot, I guess. But man, I have seen bulls really turn on a rake.
For sure.
Where they're really not responding to your kind of bugle when you can see them. And then I've had twice now where I just started raking just to see, and it was like, boom, beeline.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing. And it's the stupidest, simplest thing you can. I'll have my daughter rake when I take her up there, and she can just like as good as anybody, because you can't really mess that one up.
Yeah. No, and then it's a lot less threatening than just a lot of guys they'll just let out a massive bugle and that elk's going to bust out, especially if he's in a heavily pressured unit, and he'll know the gig. So if you can get it, especially if you have two guys hunting, you can get a guy behind you 50 yards and rake, and you can get a little kind of move in on that elk. That's really effective. And if you're going to try to change your strategy from cow calling and try to get a bull angry and coming in, then you're going to have to close the gap on him too.
Yeah.
Which a lot of guys, it's hard to do because you don't want to spook the elk.
Oh, I've run face to face with bulls.
But you have to push him.
You'll think, he's 200 yards that way. Let's try and cover 60 or 70. Yeah. And you're 15, 20 yards into moving, and there's a bull standing in front of you going, how the hell did he get here that fast?
Exactly. So, yeah, we tried to, if we're going to go with that strategy, if we're going to try to piss off a bull to come in, we're going to try to step on his toes, and we might spook him, but that's this part of the risk of doing that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's archery hunting too, right? Is you're going to screw up a lot.
And you're going to, if you have to, that's the thing that when I first started archery hunting and elk hunting, I was super timid. Just I didn't want to my biggest thing was I didn't want to spook the elk, right? But the reality of the situation is it's you're not going to get an opportunity on the elk unless you're aggressive a lot of times.
I had that this year. So, I mean, I wouldn't have shot the bull I shot 10 years ago if I'd been hunting him 10 years ago. Because this year, I drew back. I thought I had a clearing. He just, like they do, they came out 20 yards further away than I thought he was going to. And I had no shot. I had branches in the way. And I had to walk with my bow drawn, probably 15 yards down this game trail and up on the mountainside. He watched me the whole time. And I think in years past, for sure, I'd have locked up and I wouldn't have moved. But I was like, hey, it's either I move and I make a shot or I got nothing. So
did you get an opportunity on that bull?
Yeah, I killed him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He was coming, he went between two, the timber was thick in this area. And the only two big kind of clearings, this clearing of trees, I cow called, he stopped, he looked right at me. But I had no shot. I had to walk down this game trail up the mountain just to 4 steps. And then it's kind of like a half squat.
Okay.
And find this kind of pipe late opening. My buddy Jay, after I kind of re-walked him through, he's like, how in the hell did you shoot that bull? And I'm like, man, it was either that arrow was going to hit a branch and go into nowhere, hit nothing, or kill him. You know, so it was, in a way, it kind of took that fear away, because I was like, either this is going to get through there to those rifles or nothing. But anyway, I feel bad for our 4 listeners because they've already heard this story 4 times with that bull. But the point being is, I've had other buddies that were young and hunting, and if they'd have just taken 2 steps to the side or moved in on a bull, and they would just lock up and have no opportunity. I'm like, hey, you either got to just make the move and blow it or not. For sure, standing here, you're going to get nothing done. Yeah. So you might as well take the chance. It's not the only elk in the woods.
Yeah, I've missed more opportunities by not trying, by being too passive than actually just trying to make a move, make it happen.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, I think you find yourselves, back on your heels, questioning, boom, boom, and that happens quick. Moves on.
And especially, if not to interrupt, but if you can call, you can stop an elk too, right?
Yep.
So if you do happen to spook them, there's a chance you could still stop that elk and make a play on them. So,
yeah.
Yep. And that's just that little cow call will make it. Or we've called them back with a bark. It's a little bit of everything, right? You're just like, hey, I'm scared too. We're all scared here. You know what I mean? That's that kind of.
Yeah, we had one this year where they were up high. We kind of crossed over, followed them, and they wrapped around, and we were bench right above them, and we thought we had some distance. We were sitting, and I don't even know if we had dropped backpacks yet or not, but assuming they were down, they were closer. They ended up blowing out. I don't know if we blew them out or not. but I freaked in my mind. I blacked out in the sense of like, oh fuck, there they go. They ran. We just wasted this 2.5 hours or whatever, all that work. And Joel immediately starts calling, you know, and then stopped him on a dime. And I was kind of already mentally in a place where it wasn't going to work, and they moved on. But he was able to stop him. The bull gathered the cows and like brought him back. The cows were staring at us, but he was still bringing them back. And so if you kind of would have been more prepared, it was like you still had a play there. Where in my mind, immediately when the woods broke away, I thought it was all, it was all done.
Yeah, that's like the first.
And I would have never called.
When we spook elk, the first thing we do is let out a bugle. Like we're trying to get that elk to stop or make him think that we're another elk, right? Like you mentioned the bark. A lot of times, if we bump elk and they bark, we'll just bark right back at them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's better than.
But what the hell else are you gonna do?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Right. I think that's like giving yourself a lot of grace in the woods there.
Yeah.
Of going, hey, like we're out here. We know we're gonna, like, if it was successful all the time, then it wouldn't really be that much fun. Like we're gonna screw this up a bunch of times, and just knowing you're gonna screw them up, and get over it quickly, move on.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough. I mean, it's tough to give yourself grace, especially when it's like a over-the-counter tough unit, and you're you're looking for one.
Or if you haven't seen an elk in 3 days.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like I blew my one opportunity, but it truly is just a matter of just putting in the time. And
yeah.
So if I have one piece of advice for elk hunters, it's obviously practice shooting your bow, calling, all that. That's all great, but plan to get time off, off, because that's really what separates a lot of guys from others, is just having time to hunt.
So we've talked a lot about that. What's your, like, I kind of have in my mind the ideal number of days to be out there for an archery elk hunt. Rifles, whatever, right? You can go out there that morning, you see an elk, you're probably going to shoot that elk unless you're being picky.
Yeah.
But what's for you, like, your ideal time in the woods? With kid and without kid.
Well, we'll see how that works out next year.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk again next year, but let's pretend that you had all the time you wanted to have.
So, I mean, I have really, I don't know if it's bad luck or what, but I always seem to kill my elk within the last 2 or 3 days of the season.
Right.
And that usually ends up being around day like 16 to 18 in the woods for September.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, I've had some opportunities where I've, obviously I've wounded an elk. I've missed some other opportunities and missed an elk earlier on, but all the elk I've killed have typically been post 15 days in the woods for September.
Yeah.
And I try to block off, around 20 days every year to be able to go, just to give me, and that changes obviously by where you're hunting too. If it's an over the counter unit, you're going to need more time potentially to get it done versus
right.
A 4 or 5 point unit, and you could probably get it done a lot sooner.
Yeah, where guys are like, I'm hearing bugles on my hike in, versus the over counter units that we hunt here, where you're like, I haven't heard a bugle in 2 or 3 days, and if you know the area, it changes a lot too, right? I think, but for me, like if I know the area, I know I need 5 or 6 days.
Yeah,
doesn't mean I'm gonna be successful, but I would rather not go up.
Yeah,
I'd rather save those days up and be up there for like 5 to 6 to 7 days.
Yeah,
if I know it,
and I know
if you don't know it, you got 3 days of just figuring it out.
Exactly. Yeah,
and a lot of miles in the boots.
Yeah, and 15 to 20 days is not realistic for most people. Obviously we have somewhat flexible careers to where you can make that work and get coverage or whatever. But yeah, I would just say maximize as much time as you have.
Right.
Whether it's 5 days or 7 days, whatever it is, just try to get as much time off as you can.
Yeah.
So,
or just that sneaky like scouting day in August, if you can sneak up and get call it a training day.
Yeah.
Depending on how far in you want to hike. But if you can get 2 days of I just kind of in general know that they're moving through here somewhere. This is the drainage they live in. If in my mind, I'm mentally looking at any map, right? And you're just looking at that topo and you're going, okay, there's 2 or 3 main drainages in this unit, right? Just identifying what drainage are they hanging out in.
Yep, exactly.
That's going to save you 2 days of hunting, right? 2 or 3 at least.
And then, if you go there the next year, you'll have a leg up already. So.
Yeah. Where we've gone last 15 years, right? I already know where I'm going to take a shit. Yeah. I got my favorite log, but I know pretty much where to stand. And I go, I'm going to check these 3 spots. And I almost always will see elk in there. Now, this year was different because there's a wolf pack that moved into the unit we hunt a lot. And it changed it. for sure. Just they're not up on those big wide open faces this year at all. And maybe that's just me and I'm putting it out there that that's what changed it, but it was definitely different.
Yeah.
We did not see an elk in our typical kind of 2 or 3 spots we normally look. We had to shift how we hunted a little bit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see where I typically hunt. Like I said, is over OTC, and I haven't hunted there in a couple of years. I'm curious to see how the changes with Colorado last year has impacted anything, or maybe it didn't.
Yeah.
But
and that's up here where kind of north Fort Collins area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just west, about an hour west of Fort Collins.
Yeah.
But same deal though. Like I know exactly where I'm going to go every year there. Like I've killed 3 cows and 3 bulls on the same ridge. And it's within a half mile of a road.
Yep.
But it's just a place that nobody else wants to hike into, down timber. It's just nasty. But
you don't have to go that far. You have to just go someplace that nobody else wants to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. But I think that's pretty much true.
Yeah. For sure.
But even like that unit where you've given me some pins in there when I've never hunted it myself, but I've helped other people in there, and it's funny how often I'll get a pin like, hey bud, what intel do you have? Don't give me your spot, but just give me, and it's like, I'll end up with like 2 or 3 pins kind of right in the same little drainages up there. But yeah, we went up into that unit this year and shot a bull first rifle, which is cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where I typically hunt there, you go from 9,000 feet all the way to timberline and higher.
Yeah.
So, but we've seen elk in there up through 2nd, 3rd rifle all the way at timberline. So
yeah,
a lot of times guys will think that elk are just moving down, and they do. Some elk they'll move down to private quick.
Yeah.
But there's elk that hold up high for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
I think it depends a lot on the snow, right?
Yeah.
It's just like it's that weather pattern. It depends. If there's not snow pushing them out, they're going to stay there until they can't be there anymore.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go back really quickly though, because you said you work kind of half ridge. I'm just taking notes just for those guys listening. I'm sorry, but I was trying to learn. But I mean, so you're starting kind of halfway up that ridge if you know kind of where they're at in that drainage. So you can kind of be moving up or down depending on where they're at.
Yeah.
What's the approach look like from then? So you set up that cold call. You're just hoping something comes in on that, or are you locating and then moving?
So yeah, on that ridge, I have a little bit of a different strategy, and I talked about this on Dan Staten's podcast, Elk Shape.
Oh yeah,
we were up there. But it's about an hour and a half hike to get to where I want to be on that ridge.
Yep.
And so typically my goal in the morning is just getting up there. By the time I get to where I want to be, the thermals are switching.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a unique situation where I'm not going to get halfway on that ridge and try to do a bunch of cold calling. I know where I kind of want to be.
Yeah.
And my goal is to try to intercept elk when they're going up to bed.
Yeah.
They like to come down at night, get water, kind of work their way back up in the morning. And if I can intercept them and kind of break a bull off on his way to bed, then that's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
So it's not, my strategy there is a little different than it would be normally, but yeah, typically I'm just going to try to get the thermals right, work in, get halfway, up a topo, and just try to do some cold call sequences and try to get a response.
Right.
And then just every 200 yards, set up, do a cold sequence and just do the same thing.
How long are you sitting after that 200 yards? You sit there, you call, is it 5 minutes or is it 30 minutes?
Typically it's, 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll give her spot and we just keep moving.
Yeah.
And our goal is just to try to get some sort of vocalization so we can locate an elk. At least we, know where to start.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Until what, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock?
Yeah. I mean, most of the success that we've had and I've had has been, before 10 o'clock in the morning, or I've killed bulls in the evening too, when rainstorms, storms have moved in or whatever. But, and like I've listened to a lot of podcasts and talked to a lot of guys like Corey Jacobson.
Yeah.
His favorite time to hunt elk, over 50% of his bulls he's killed have been at noon, midday. So, that's one of his strategies is to go in there, cover ground midday and try to fire a bull up because they're going to move. They're going to shift bedding locations midday to get the shade right, whatever.
I've noticed that a lot, like about 11 to 12. They tend to kind of get up and move. Not real far, but they know where they want to be, We've intercepted that like north face and they'll go down to water and then they'll shift to the other face.
Yeah. So, a lot of guys have success with that. I haven't personally. But yeah, typically I'm calling till 10 or 11. And, the longer I used to, when I first started archery hunting, I'd go home, for not home, but to camp for lunch or whatever and grab a bite and go back out. But now I try to stick out all day and, you can't kill elk if you're at camp. So, your chances might go down midday, but you still have an opportunity. So
Yeah. Do you do much hunting with a camp on your back where you're just kind of mobile?
not really. We typically will just, and there's a couple reasons for that. The areas that we've hunted, we just don't need to get into elk. And especially like we hunted in Wyoming this year, there's roads pretty much everywhere. You can't get away from roads. I think.
How was that for you? Was that because when we did that, me and Tyrel in Utah probably 5 years ago, and there's roads and there's side by sides everywhere.
Yeah.
Guys are just zipping all over the place, and there's still elk all in there.
Yeah.
And it was really discouraging our first day up there. We're like, we're never going to see a damn elk. Because there's roads everywhere. Guys are zipping by. It's like there's like these camps of like what look like 400 people.
Yeah.
And we still got into them like crazy, And so I think coming from Colorado, where a lot of what we do is either really kind of deep backcountry or wilderness, and there's not a lot of roads in a lot of our units. Was that same for you, where you kind of got in there like there are roads everywhere?
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to find an elk in here?
I mean, I think the farthest spot we could get to without hitting a road was about 1.5 miles in, and that's shallow for Colorado.
Super shallow. Yeah.
So. Yeah, but the thing is, like, if there's a lot of roads and there's a lot of elk, then they're going to become accustomed to the roads, you know. And a lot of times we'd hunt and we'd hike in and we'd get back to the ATV and see elk tracks on the road that we came in the morning. So a lot of times they'll actually use roads as they'll travel routes, and they just get used to them. Especially, it's an area that's a lot of people ATV in the summertime.
Yeah. So
they're just used to it. They're just used to it. They just live with it. Yep. So to kind of set yourself apart in that situation is just find those nasty canyons and those spots that just people don't want to deal with.
Yeah, the one we found a lot of elk in was called the Hellhole. In Utah, literally. And we're looking at the map. I'm like, that. I bet there's nobody that wants to go in there, and there wasn't. We were all by ourselves. But how was it in Wyoming for you? What'd you find? I mean, were you successful?
I was successful. Not during archery. I had to go back up for rifle and kill.
Which is the most beautiful thing in the world with Wyoming and Montana, right? It's like if you're not successful in archery, you get to go back for rifle.
Yeah, and I was
a wonderful deal.
I was telling Tyrel that is up before I killed my bull. It was the worst year that I'd ever had archery elk hunting. Just so many encounters every day. We were in elk. I just didn't have anything I didn't have my tag filled. Yeah, and I wounded a bull, a smaller bull, earlier in the season. I think it was day 5. And just had a lot of encounters. Just couldn't seal the deal. And a lot of it was just we were trying to. We had my buddy Thomas and I drew the tag together this year, and we had a guy come up and film for us. Yeah. So we tried to get some good footage for Mile High and the calls and everything. So we were a little picky to begin with, which I always regret and I don't like doing, especially in a general unit, right? Yep. And we kind of, regretted that at the end. Thomas ended up killing a small satellite bull, but he had opportunities on bigger bulls earlier in the season that we passed. I wounded a smaller, bull on day, I think it was day 5, I think. And had some other opportunities as well that I passed before that. But yeah, and then it seemed like this year the rut was super early, which was odd. Yeah. Like the 5th through the 12th, it was going pretty good up there. Yep. And then, so we were looking forward to the end of the year, like, okay, well, this is just kind of the pregame. We're going to get a ton of more opportunities, tons more footage later in the season. That's how it typically always is. And then it just got worse and worse. So we were like, shoot, we should have. Yeah. You feel like you blew it. Yeah. We should have got it done earlier. But so, long story short, Thomas ended up killing a small bull. I didn't end up killing a bull during archery, went up back during rifle for the opener of rifle. And it was the most amount of people I've ever seen hunting anywhere. It was insane. Yeah. Like everywhere I went, there was like even the remote spots that we found during archery had 2 or 3 trucks or side by sides there. And it was just, or camps there. People would go and drop their camps off a week in advance. And like, just, you know, it was ridiculous. So I learned the hard way. I got cut off opening morning of rifle by another hunter. He ended up bumping the herd. The herd ran into another line of hunters, and they were mowing down elk. Yeah. So I was like, gosh, I'm not gonna just waste time up here. So I hunted a couple days, and I went home. And then I was obviously getting closer to when the baby boy was coming. Yes. And I told Taylor, I was like, gosh, I just it's all I could think about, right? Like I hate failing, and I was like, I just have to sneak away for a couple more days. I just give me a couple more days. And she was fine with it. You know, she's like, go ahead. Like, just, I mean, you're not doing anything here right now. So you're 2 hours away. If he comes, we'll make it
You'll
work.
be back. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of did a Hail Mary shot, and like I went to a spot that it was really low in elevation. And I didn't hunt there at all during archery season. And I did check it out that first weekend of rifle that I was up there, and there wasn't near as many people. There was hardly anybody up there in that area, but there was no elk. Like I didn't see any elk sign like at all. And it was like more like a winter range area. So like I kind of wrote it off. So that second trip up, I was like, I'm just going to go, since like I have an evening to hunt, I'm just going to go to that same spot and just see if anything's moved in there. Maybe the pressure has moved some, moved some elk in there. Maybe they're naturally starting to go that direction anyway. And that first evening, I glassed up a bull and shot him 450 yards.
Yeah.
With my rifle. And it's my biggest bull to date. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So, but so it worked out. But it was really cool season. It was a lot of learning. We did a lot of scouting trips this summer up there, and we covered a lot of ground just to try to narrow where we wanted to go. So next time we draw it, we'll have a lot better idea of what we're going to do. But so
yeah,
that's awesome.
Are you so next year focus on Colorado again, or are you going to kind of bounce around and kind of get points here, get points Wyoming, kind of? So
I'll actually be probably able to draw Montana.
Okay. Yeah, you should.
I'll have to pick your brain on some of that stuff.
Yeah. How many points will you have?
I'll have 2 going into the draw.
You'll be good. Yeah.
So, still deciding if we want to do that. But I'll probably put in for Wyoming again, just because, you actually have pretty good odds, drawing up there with the special to pay a little more. But
what's the special? Tell me about that.
So in Wyoming, you have basically a general tag, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's different regions for the general tag. You have the southern region, western region, eastern region. And then essentially you can, put in for that tag every year.
Yeah.
I hunted the south region this year, and typically on a general tag, it takes 4 or 5 years to draw.
Mm-hmm.
If you do the special, it puts you into a different category. So it's sort of a pay to play situation. Yeah. It's an extra almost $1,000, but you have a pretty good chance of drawing it with no points, 1 point, 0 points or 1 point. And then like 100% chance of drawing with 2 or 3. So you're going to pay for it, but you have a lot better odds to draw it. So
got it. Yeah.
So it's a special general.
Special general. Yeah. You just pay. It's like just pay to be the front of the line.
Essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you got it, might as well.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, I mean, I look at it like if, a lot of guys will spend, $5,000 on a lease or $10,000 on a guided hunt. If I can go up and especially now knowing that, it was pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Like I can somewhat justify it just knowing that I'm going to have pretty good odds,
Well, all those tags are expensive. Even like I went to Oklahoma whitetail hunt. It used to be $250.
Yeah.
And it was $750 this year.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
It's crazy. And so, everything's getting, Nebraska tags have gotten double what they were last year or 2 years ago. So $1,000 is kind of like pretty normal unless it's your home state, But if you're leaving the state, it's kind of that way everywhere.
Yeah. To add on the additional money, I think that's a great concept, right? Like if you're gonna, like you said, if you're gonna get a guide, if you're gonna go somewhere, you're spending money. But if you're just trying to not wait that 4 or 5 years, 3 years, whatever that is.
Yeah, for sure. Time is money to a degree.
100%.
You only get so many Septembers. And like I was, with a little boy, I do a lot of thinking. I'm like, okay, well, by the time he graduates, I'll be 52.
Yeah.
And he's going to have he's not going to probably do a ton of hunting during his teens and like because of football and sports.
They get sports. It's really hard.
So it's like, I might have like 10 good years to really like do some really cool hunts with him. So, So it's just like, but that's only 30 more Septembers. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like every year, even though, if it's what you love to do, then it's worth the money in my opinion.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. Especially if, obviously being responsible about it, but it's, time is money.
To be able to go back to Utah, would you pay an extra $1,000?
Easy. All day long.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Just even have the opportunity where you can see 2 or 3 bulls every day.
Yeah.
Right. When you're used to hunting. I don't know, nothing against Colorado, but there's everywhere else I've ever been. it's always a lot more
better.
animals. It's better. It is.
Yeah.
You know, it just is. I mean, I went to New Mexico a couple years ago with some buddies, and dude, it was 3 or 4 bulls a day. I didn't shoot anything. I missed a really good bull, but and same with Utah. We got picky in Utah, and we shouldn't have. We were there with a friend Heath, who's part of the Reckless team, and you know, and Heath has killed some monster bulls, and he knew that area, and he's like, hey, you're going to kill a big bull here, so we're going to hold out. So we passed on a couple of bulls anyway. I mean, we had 2 bulls. We had a satellite, and then like a little like raghorn 4, and like a pretty good 5 or 6. They were just out in this meadow feeding, but there was a monster bull in this herd we were trying to get to, and there was no way to get to that herd without just walking right next to these 2 bulls. And we did. We just like left the tree line, and we walked 30 yards from them. And they didn't even. They just like, I think they were looking at us like, "What are you guys doing?" And they didn't even really bust off until we got past them. They just like watched us. They were eating and just watched us walk by. But yeah, we passed up on some bulls that never ever would we pass those bulls in Colorado. You know, you can't do it here.
So I'm just starting to venture out with other states and kind of learn about, you know, different point systems and whatnot. So New Mexico, is that the completely random? Is that
New Mexico's random.
Random draw.
Yeah, it's completely random. And so it's if you put in as a group, I think we'll try that this next year. Your odds go way up if you put in as a group. And my our brother Adam, he drew 2 years in a row as an out-of-stater. It depends a lot on the unit too,
for sure.
right? Like the Gilas, that's a tougher unit to draw. That's where you want to be, as far as I know. I'm sure there's guys that know a lot more than I do. That's just what I know of New Mexico. But was able to go up there and hunt, and got to hunt with like Wayne Endicott from
nice.
the Bow Rack.
That's awesome.
Actually, his wife was hunting, and so Lisa, which was an absolute blast to be in camp with Wayne and Lisa, because they're hilarious to watch. Their interactions, like she just gives him so much shit, you know. So I was lucky to get to hunt with those guys a little bit, and so but New Mexico, I was just following the lead of other guys that knew what they were doing up there, you know. But that was a Gila unit, but just elk everywhere. Just waking up in the morning and just like, even from camp, hearing like bugle, 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 bugle. You know, there are probably 8 bulls around us bugling, you know, and some of them right across the lake from us that were on private. But I mean, it was multiple times we'd go out, and within the first 400 yards of hiking in, have an interaction with a bull. That's awesome. Just never locked it up. Yeah. New Mexico, I was in an age where we were doing a lot of like kind of running and gunning kind of bugle. We'd watched maybe a little too much of the Born and Raised guys, you know, and where that kind of bugle from a ridge and then just run and blasting in. And New Mexico, I think, is probably not best suited for that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Where you're just chasing and just covering miles. It was the guys that they went to a spot, and Kip, one of the guys we were hunting with, he told me, he's like, just go stand here, you know, just stay there. And everybody that did basically that shot a bull. Okay. You know, where we were just such in that mode of just like blowing and going, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting how it's different in different, you know, states and different areas.
It is. They were really consistent because there's not as much water up there, right? So they were consistently going from that high ground down to water and then back up again. And that was just their pattern. Whereas like a lot of the areas I hunt, like same with you, like anything that we're out like kind of in these hills above us, there's water everywhere up there, right? So there is no really sitting water. I mean, guys do it all the time, but where we're at, it's like, you could sit water, but there's a stream here and a stream here, and there's 5 seeps over there. You know what I mean? There's like everywhere you turn, there's water. And so, so there's not really that consistent movement, right? They can bebop around. And so, but New Mexico was a really, really good time. And just to go from hunting this country was all the deadfall, and you're just stepping over, like, you know what I mean? Logs and trees all day long. Where it's there, it's like, it's might as well be a sidewalk. You know, the trees are spread out. There's no deadfall anywhere. And you're just walking.
Like cedar ponderosa
spread out. That kind of crushed like lava rock kind of, you know, just, you know, no big, like nasty granite, you know, where you're just like, you know, it was a lot. It was absolutely amazing to hunt.
That's cool.
Just from the topography is a lot softer. You know, it was easy hunting for sure compared to here.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to try it.
Well, 100%. Yeah. 100%.
Get lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it is just a luck thing over there. So, what does it look like for you next year with the boy, man? Where's your head at with, you know, getting that time and kind of structuring life to where because, you know, for me, I tended then when my kids were that age of like trying to bank the days, you know what I mean? Just make sure I did a good job of really being present as a dad, you know, and it changes as they get older. But when your kid's 1, like your kid's going to be almost turning 1 and you're hunting next year, and you leave for 10 days and you come back and it's like he's a different little person, which it breaks your heart. You know, it really does.
Yeah. Well, I've never been there, obviously. So
yeah,
I'll get some pointers from you along the way.
Shoot.
But you've done a good job at it. But yeah, for me, I mean, I think it's just setting expectations up front.
Yeah.
And, I've always been told, with different life changes, just wait until this happens, then you'll be able to do it. Just wait until this happens. You get a dog, you get married, your hunting is going away, and it hasn't gone away yet. So I just feel like it's about putting systems in place and making sure expectations are set, and obviously putting time and effort into the different bank accounts of life, right? Making sure that your wife's bank account's full and your relationship, bank accounts are full before you kind of can say, honey, I'm going to go on a 10-day hunt. Making sure things are set up at home, making sure the bills are paid, making sure the lawn's cut, and just setting up everybody for success around you, even in business. With real estate has been huge for me. And it's a lot of times it's obviously double or triple the work trying to get ready to go hunting.
Absolutely.
It's more work to get ready for hunting than actually go hunting a lot of times, but you have to do it, especially being an entrepreneur, being self-employed. You have to set everybody up for success around you in order to get your time.
Yeah.
So,
and it's been, something I've always challenged myself with was looking at the energy usage I spend to go on a hunt and thinking to myself, have I spent that same amount of energy on my wife or on my kids? And it's really hard to do because with hunting, like I'll start packing. I'm already mentally packing for next year, and so I always challenge myself and friends around me, like, are you taking that same mental energy, that same time to focus on your marriage or whatever else it be in your life, right? Your faith or your marriage or your kids. And so I think that's where I've had to really work hard is checking myself a little bit on that and going like, are you allocating that same energy and that same level of engagement in your marriage? Like when was the last time, and I'll use myself as an example. Like when was the last time I planned a date or a trip with my wife as well as I planned a hunt? You know what I mean? Where so often I'll go on a trip with her and I'm packing the night before, where are we going again? Is it warm? What are we, is there a beach there? And it's like, that's 2 days before we leave. Whereas with the hunt, I've been looking at like topos and I'm all, everything's laid on the table 2 weeks before and I'm getting ready to go. And so I've had to really kind of, as a just a check for myself is going like, take that same energy and apply it to your marriage, take that same energy and apply it to your kids. Which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Actually, it shouldn't be. I'm just being honest. But it's, I think if we can do that, then we can pull it off. Right. And no, nothing has to go away. When you have kids, people say, well, just wait till you do this. That's not true.
Yeah.
You can't have everything that you had. Like you're going to, throughout the 12 months of the year, you're going to give up something.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. A lot of times it's sleep. If you want to keep your fitness at even a marginal level, I always tell young dads, like, that's what 5 a.m. is for. That's what 4:30 a.m. is for. And luckily now I don't have to do that as much anymore. But when my kids were young, like I was out here in the weight room when it was always dark, always dark. And so, but I think that's for me is that idea of, planning ahead, taking that 12-month calendar and going, okay, I got to put stuff in the bank. Right. And I got to give up something. Like there's something you don't know that you're going to give up. You just don't know what it is yet. Right.
Yeah. And that's tough because it's like, a lot of guys that hunt like to hunt one or two things, right? Like they're elk hunters or deer hunters or whatever. I unfortunately, but fortunately love it all.
Yeah.
I love to waterfowl.
Because you're right in the middle of bird season.
Yeah. Now waterfowl is starting.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching migrators moving and like I'm itching. Like I'm like, okay, like I got to get out.
Yeah.
And it's like, it never truly ends. So like, for me, I'm like, okay, during the summer, I'm all yours. But realistically, that's not,
But from now till February, then turkey hits again in spring.
Yeah,
and
exactly. So it's, there's going to be some sacrifice there for sure and some give up, and I'll have to narrow down what I love the most, right? For a short time. And then you'll get to the other side when the boy, your kids can start going with you and all that good stuff. But life's about seasons and, for this season, we'll adjust. And I'll always prioritize, though, archery elk hunting. I mean, that's always going to be a priority of mine, just over the other types and different seasons. But honestly, like a lot of the other stuff's local, too. So I can cruise up for a morning for a few hours and be able to get a hunt in. It's not like it's super taxing. In fact, she probably wants me to get out of the house for a few hours. So, I'll just kind of take it as it comes. And like you said, though, putting those systems in place and kind of putting the time in for the different areas of life, your kids and your wife, and making sure it's equal or above what you're putting into your personal passions is important. So,
yeah. And it's hard. And nobody else will hold you accountable to that but yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like you're the only one that's going to hold yourself accountable to, and the only one's going to really know if you really spent that much time or not. But that's always been something I've tried to do to myself is say, okay, like a couple times a year, can you really dedicate that same level of care, thought, and energy to how you're taking care of your wife and kids too, or wherever, whatever you got in your life, but you do it. It's a trade-off. It's hard to say now because you don't even know. I mean, at my place where I got a kid that's 16 and one that's almost 14, but it's hard to know what I did trade off. What was the trade-off? What did I give up? Maybe those little ancillary hobbies, I used to, I don't know. I never really golfed much, but I haven't golfed in years and I probably won't, because it's just like, that's 3.5, 4 hours I could take for something else. Right. And you're right. Like you just look at it and you go, you can only have so many priorities.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and just as those work days where like now, like because I had a lot of a hunting season, now I'm finding myself working Saturdays and Sundays and evenings and then that balance of that taken away from the kids too.
For sure. Yeah.
But you do have to, luckily, because we both sell real estate for a living, we can make up that time in other spaces. Or like this year, unfortunately, we took a Starlink up to camp to hunt. It was a real bummer to have it, but it allowed me to get work done while I was up there, And so you just figure out systems in place that you go, how can I make it appear that I'm still here? Right. If I can't completely detach,
Yeah. And we're, 100%, like systems are huge. And thankfully, Taylor and I, my wife and I are both aligned on systems. We're both very systems oriented. So, just putting those systems in place to be successful.
Yeah.
So.
And a common goal, right? I think if you can look at it and
go,
like Tyrel and I both found hunting later on in life. He was married, and when he started to introduce that as a hobby into your life, luckily for you, you were pretty well, you got married a little later than we did. And so I hadn't ever hunted when I got married, at all. And so to introduce that into the marriage as far as like, hey, this is something I've now kind of obsessed with, you know what I mean? And having her adjust to that.
For sure,
right.
yeah.
And it took her a while to see how much I really loved it and just how much it really serves kind of my soul, and I think once she really saw just how much I needed to be in the woods, for multiple days with buddies and sleeping on the ground and how much it did for me, then it was a lot easier to sell, to go like, this isn't just for fun. It's not just because we don't go up and drink beer or anything. We're up there grinding, it's like, it's hard. But I think once she was able to see that in me and go, oh, he really needs this, there's a part of him that kind of that wild piece of us that just needs to be in the woods. Then it makes it a little easier to convince her to say yes.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's not always given away said thing. But there's just pieces of you that won't be there. Right. And it's just like, we're not killing waterfowl this weekend or next weekend. Yeah. Maybe changes, but I don't think there's anything that goes away that you don't want to.
Right. What do you think?
I think the things that give up are like the things that you want. I think you ultimately get down and you're like, oh, okay, I don't need that.
You don't mind giving them up, but what are those?
Yeah, like for me, like spending time on the mountain, like snowboarding. Like I just don't go anymore. And last year, got my daughter a snowboard, and we went up a couple times, and trying to teach, and she doesn't need much more than a hill out here, but so it's like you find those pieces of it, but it's like I don't miss it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like it's just, and I don't think the kids necessarily took that away, but time took that away, right? Like just priorities took it away, and it's just like that's just not on the docket.
Right. But I think, kids do a good job of helping you realize what your priorities are. I don't think we sit down very often and actually go, okay, what are my priorities? Yeah. Like what is really important? Andrea tells me all the time, she's like, I don't know where she got this from. She goes, you can have it all. You just can't have it all at the same time. Right. And so you have to just know there's, like you said, there's seasons for this thing. But I think it is interesting as you get like where you're at, CJ and Tyrel, even where you're at with your kids are pretty young, of kind of going, what am I going to give up? What hits the chopping block, and for me, it's a frequency thing. Like what's that thing that I get really excited about doing, and then you just learn, well, that's not a thing that I get excited about. I'm going to say no to that, make room for something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a decision. I mean, ultimately, I think they just kind of push you in the direction of
Mm-hmm.
just can't do this. This is time for the kids, and
Yeah,
then
for
I
sure.
move forward. But I don't think your big, obsessions and passions. I think they burn as deep and strong as always, and you find a place to work those in. And
For sure. Yeah. It's a process, and you just kind of figure out as you go to a degree. But yeah, there's going to be things that kind of fall off naturally with time, and that's fine. Right. Like it's faith, family first, and the rest comes after that. So, but I think, a lot of guys do, I see it a lot though, where guys do give up kind of their purpose and their passions once they have a family, or once they, have responsibility. It's just that fear factor of not, of having to provide. It's tough to provide these days. It's things are
100%.
expensive. So, but I've seen a lot of guys give up, the passions and dreams they once had. And life's also short from that perspective, to where I don't think you have to give up the ship. I think you can adjust and adapt a little bit to be able to have both. So,
I don't know, but I assume to regain that 2 decades later is hard.
I think it'd be really hard. I see a lot of guys that just feel like it looks like their soul has just died. And I feel really bad saying it. Hopefully, I'm not talking about any one guy in particular, but I think that I think something cool about the hunting world is it's for one, it provides a great community.
mm-hmm.
And I think men are really bad at having community and finding men they can sit with and talk to about life, or even that feeling of that provider energy that you young guys that are having kids. I see men that as soon as they find out their wife's pregnant, they start to freak out, And I mean, I felt that. I'm sure you felt that as soon as you held your baby in your hands. First of all, you were like, God, I've never loved anything this much in my life. But at the same time, like, I got to go to work. I got to go work to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to provide, because it's like diapers, formula. I don't know what you and your wife are doing, but mine, we decided she was going to stay home for a portion of her life and raise the kids. And
we're going to probably go that direction as well.
Well, and it's hard not to when you look at daycare is insane,
mm-hmm.
And you go, okay, I can, maybe you net out an extra $500 a month and somebody else raises your kid.
Yeah, exactly. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
A
lot of times. Now, some people have to, right? But it's not, I would, given our situation, even it's going to take a little bit of sacrifice. That's kind of the route we're wanting to go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. How are you doing with that provider energy, man? Just having to go like, okay, this is on me now, right?
It's been good. I think it's healthy, right? Like, I think it pushes you to think in different ways you haven't. Like, you're not going to push yourself unless you need to in a lot of different areas, right? Like, you can have internal motivation naturally, but it's only going to get you so far. But having those pushers and those points, so it's been good. Like, I've been already revamping all my systems for next year and figuring out how I'm going to expand and grow, and just with like business planning and thinking about now getting licensed in Wyoming and expanding, in a different state, and just to figure out different opportunities to try to, continue just to adjust and kind of go to the next level. So,
yeah, man. You guys want to take a break?
All right, we're back. Tyrel just did a pee break.
We're back.
Watered those pine trees out behind the studio, and I got some of those coughs out of the way. Sorry, guys. I've had a little bit of a cold, and so
feeling it.
Yeah, just trying to bring it and focus, and then look at poor CJ going, keep talking. Let me just cough a little bit. So, CJ. So my kids, 12 or sorry, almost 14 and 16. So I'm on the back end of that where, CJ asked me like, what am I gonna do with all my free time once those kids, go off to college, which I dread at the same time.
mm-hmm.
Right. I love being a dad. It's my favorite thing in my life. It's absolutely wonderful. And I won't say that I was a bad dad when they were really young, but I wasn't as good of a dad as I am now, where, I love getting to hang out with them, do all those fun things in life. And so, because I'm a relatively active person. And so, there's limitless things I can do with the kids now. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's in the summertime, it's like, let's go ride bikes. Let's go tube the river. Let's take them out. Like, they're both kind of in their athletic world now where they're wanting to lift and they're wanting to train. And so even, after we get done here, I'll bring my son out here and he's excited to work out. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's super fun to be able to go in the weight room with him and kind of teach him, some of what I know. And for years, my kids had no idea. I remember we were sitting around the fire like 2 years ago, which would have made my daughter like 14 or 13 or so. And we were just asking interesting questions. I forget, there was a game that my wife had made up, but it came up that I had tried out for the Olympics a couple times, and the kids, neither one of them knew that I'd ever done that. And it was really funny to see them kind of both go like, what? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's a thing I did before you guys were here. And yeah, actually a little bit while they were here, but, you know, seeing my son now start to take a little bit of interest and go like, okay, so even this morning he was like looking me up to see, okay, what were you ranked in the world in 2008, cool. You know? And I think it's neat for him to see like my name, the American flag there, and just kind of world rankings and some of that. And so, so then he starts to finally freaking listen to me a little bit, you know, because everybody's kid is different, but mine was really just rebellious and wanted to have his own thing, which is absolutely what I want him to have. Right. But finally, I think he's finally going like, oh, you might know a couple things, you know, especially about the weight room, right?
Yeah,
or just how to make this body move the way we want it to move. And so he's been cool about wanting to go like, hey, you want to go to the weight room and show me some stuff. That's right. Cool. That's so awesome. Now we're pushing those 15-pound dumbbells on the bench press, you know.
There we go.
And it is really funny to see, you know, just I remember being there too when you're young, like just first going into the weight room where like you might be strong in a way, but the weight room is just different, right? So just holding and stabilizing a bar, it's all those little stabilizing muscles and things like that are weak. And so it's been fun to get in there with him. But yeah, man, it's when our daughter had all those dance classes, we were driving multiple nights a week at 9:30, 9:45 at night, and not having to do that as much anymore. She can drive herself to things, and so for one, I get more sleep. You know, I think that. I sent somebody a thing on Instagram the other day that said, it said something about like at some point in your 40s, you get a little bit tired and then you just kind of stay that way for the rest of your life, you know? And you definitely feel that once you have kids, right? Like I remember when I was at kind of Tyrel's age going like, am I ever going to wake up in the morning again and think to myself, oh, I feel rested, like completely 100% rested. And I just don't think you ever do again. I think that there's just a thing that happens like once you have kids and it's just aging as well. But you never really wake up in the morning and go, God, I feel good. I feel great. Birds are chirping. I'm going to go out and run around and you know, have fun. Just like, and the older you get, the things start to hurt more, you know, so your first 8 steps of the day are painful as you get older. Sure. But I don't know, man. Like, you know, I had an old cowboy tell me once, he's like, you're not going to wear that body out. And I'm beginning to wonder, I think he was wrong because I'm pushing on that. I think I'm wearing this thing out. There's less and less stuff is working, you know, and I'm missing more and more parts as we get, you know what I mean, older. I got other people's tendons and different things holding me together and thread.
Well, technology's working in favor right
yeah,
now, so
that whole Talladega Nights, right?
Yep.
Like what advancements in modern medicine and all that. I'm really hoping for some of that, you know. Yeah, it would be really cool to have some robot legs when we're like 90. We can go still, you know. But no, there will be free time on the back end of these kids leaving, but I dread it at the same time, you know. It feels like time, you know. I feel like those old guys that just tell you like don't blink, right? Because it goes away, but it really does. And at the same time, like I would give everything I've got today to go back 16 years and start over with my daughter, you know. It is, I don't know, it's just the greatest thing in the world. And at the same time, like, you know, my son asked me the other day, like, when do you think you're in your prime, Dad? Like 25, 26? And I was like, I think I'm in my prime right now. Right? Like, it's just, I've never had more fun. You know, I've never had more fun in life where I love being a dad. I love my wife and I love what I get to do for hobbies. That's awesome. So, and we get to be in here talking on a podcast about, you know, hunting and just having a blast with it. And so, I don't know, man, I think that it's just that pretty consistent pursuit of what I wanted to do has really led to the ability to kind of really narrow it down and go, I'm going to do what I love, you know?
Yeah.
And it is those systems. It's, I don't know, I mean, it's not always, I mean, systems, yes, 100%, but it's also just kind of knowing what you're going to say no to.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And going, that's just not a priority. And you know, the no's come in a lot of ways. Like one of them is like, I don't know, simple one would be like alcohol. Like I just don't go out drinking with the boys. I got nothing against guys that do. It just doesn't seem to serve what I'm after. Right. And so, I mean, I'll go out very rarely and have like a whiskey with some buddies just because it's just nice to see the boys. But almost never do you find me out Saturday and Sunday, you know, boozing or any of that. And so don't watch a lot of football on Sundays, right? It's like that's time with the family and time with the kids. And so you give up those little things. It's not always that really big thing. It's lots of little things that'll get you there. So yeah, man, it's
Yeah, it's amazing how much time there really is out there if you focus it. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of time is wasted throughout the day. So
Absolutely.
like even we don't watch TV at all hardly. Or
Yeah.
you know, I used to always watch football. I don't watch football much anymore at all. I watched the Alabama game last night, but that was the first football game I'd watched in a while. So
Yeah.
So just you know prioritize what's most important. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that can work in a way too. Like if your family loves sports and it's a way that you and your kids and your wife get together and have a bowl of chili and you watch the game on Sunday, then do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't, my family's never really fallen in love with it in that way, but I see families that do. And honestly, it's like, that's a great way to spend your Sunday. If that's what you like, if people, you know, they're big Bama fans and they want to do that, then if it gathers you and you find something in common to do it together, then do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yep.
I think that's how it would serve. If that were a thing in my life, that's how I would use it. But yeah, I mean, it's just, because Tyrel, your family's that way, right? I mean,
Yeah, we
you guys-
watch more football obviously than you do. We love
Yeah, but your wife
football.
likes
My
it.
connection to sports, I think, is a little bit different than you.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm still like, one day I'll get to do that. You know, and then my wife is, you know, that was kind of drew us together back in the day a little bit, and so it's
Dude,
still a
your
big.
wife's a football fan, dude. I mean, you
It's
guys.
still a big piece of our. Yeah, that's what we do. She has a game on before I'll ever turn it on. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And it's fun, you know. Now with the boy, he's fun. You know, he runs around thinking he's Bo Nix, which is pretty fun. And-
Thank God he's got a quarterback we can be proud of. Right
yeah,
now,
exactly. Finally.
Yeah.
So, but you know, there's just like anything. There's time, and you know, the kids, and you know, wait till this happens. You won't be able to do that anymore. And I think it just adds another level of being able to schedule that stuff out and just dictate your day in the way you want it, especially with the young one.
Yeah.
Man, it's just laying there. You get to mold your day
Exactly,
around
yeah.
that
Yeah.
however you want.
Yeah.
It has to eat every 3 hours or whatever that formula is, but for the most part, you can just set it right there on the counter. You can make your breakfast, and it's not going to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the seasons will come and
They
changes.
start walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, once they're walking, it's different. But
Yeah, and then they're slow to walk, and but then you know, then they start walking. Then it's amazing. I don't know.
yeah,
The way you can interact and play with them. It just, the seasons change and they get better, and it takes away some stuff. But man, it's awesome.
I can't really think of anything I've given up that I regret giving up.
Nope.
I
Nothing.
you know, in my mind, there's nothing really that.
And I think people that are really disciplined go into it like, you'll be able to keep that discipline. It doesn't have to be chaos. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I mean, and Brian, you've started businesses. You've had a ton of projects, and obviously you're full-time real estate, and like you have a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah,
And
totally.
you've been able to do a lot.
Yeah, yeah. You just find yourself like, even if I go into the office on the real estate side, when I used to go into an office, I would hear other guys. I would just overhear conversations, and I'm thinking like, this guy's making this thing so much harder than it needs to be. You know, whereas when you get good, you just call a client in this example and you say, hey, this is happening. You need to sign this. I'm sending it over.
Exactly.
Go ahead and sign it now.
Mhm.
You know, and I think people would find ways to make themselves feel busy, especially in real estate, where they, you know, I think they feel guilty if they don't spend 8 hours a day doing what they need to do. And I was typically done by 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning if I wasn't showing.
Critical tasks.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just get right down to it.
Yeah.
You just don't add the extra words or the fluff. Don't be doing the whole freaking water cooler talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm very task driven.
Same
You know?
here. Yeah. I'm a terrible, I guess we're not employees, so to speak, but
Yeah.
we're under a brokerage, right? But I'm a
Yeah.
terrible agent for the brokerage because
Yeah.
I don't go to any events.
No.
Like I'm just like I'm there to get my critical tasks done and serve my people, but
Yep.
I don't have time for everything else. So
No, none of
Yeah.
that. And it's just, and I'm a big fan of, and not to get too technical with it, but I'm a big fan of doing my first wave of communication very early, like 6:30 in the
thing,
morning. Because if I can get something into somebody's email inbox by 6 or 6:30 in the morning, they get their latte and they're to the office by 9, most people. So the first thing they see in that morning is that, I sent them an email at 6. So they'll respond to me before their lunch hour, if I'm lucky. And then I can get back to them again by 1 o'clock. So I can get sort of 2 days worth of work done.
you typically get
In a
your
day.
workouts done in the morning before that or after in the afternoon?
It just, now at my age, I've been working out midday.
Okay. Midday.
So I've shifted a lot of stuff because I used to hold my first meeting at 6 o'clock in the morning. Right. So I was like, if somebody was willing to meet with me or 6:30, that's when I would do that. And I missed a lot of breakfast with the kids. And years ago, I kind of changed my mindset around that. So I can still from the laptop get a lot of work done. But my goal is to feed breakfast to the kids every day.
Yeah.
And so typically I'll do actual computer work or planning or whatever it is first thing in the morning. Breakfast with the kids, and then when they leave, I'll typically get my workout in the morning.
Okay.
You know, life is crazy, and it doesn't always change. And sometimes I have to work out in the afternoon, which I hate. Usually by the time the afternoon comes, because we've got multiple companies and the real estate and just everything that we're doing, I'm exhausted, man.
I bet.
I am fried. Like come 5 o'clock, like I'm done. You know, so it's really hard for me to get a workout in. It has to be the most simple workout in the world. Like I have a sled pull out here, and I'll just drag the sled up and down the driveway. It's about 100 yards, and I'll just do 8 of those. Yeah. And that's it. Crank the music up, you know, turn the notifications off on the phone so nobody can bug me, and just put myself in the ground. But my favorite time, my ideal schedule would be that kind of get work done from 6 to 6:30 or 7. And then be part of the kids' life first thing in the morning, because I think so much of their day can be really affected by how their day starts. Right. Sure. And so if I'm not yelling at them, if I get them up just a little earlier and I help them get kind of that nice, smooth transition in the morning, you know,
makes sense. Yeah.
I try not to yell at them too much in the morning. So if homework's not done or their bedroom's not clean, I don't light them up about that first thing, because it's just a bummer way to start the day.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's so much power in how we encourage and how we support them first thing as they leave on a really positive note. And so try and do that with the kids.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then I'll work out pretty much every day. And, that's just for the mental health side of it as much as anything, you know, just move the body. And it doesn't have to be, there was a time when I was, you know, very, very strict about what the workout needed to be. Now it's just move the body. You going to be able to edit those out, Tyrel, for me, those coughs?
We'll figure it out.
You got it.
Guarantee nothing.
Just let them roll, let people be part of the full interaction. Right. So, but yeah, that's really it. It's just, and I think that's just it with, as you do at kids, it's just starting out. You got to stretch your day a little bit, you know, so, but it'll be good, man. And I don't think it is so worth it. Whatever somebody says you're giving up when you have a kid, it's worth whatever you give up. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. And already we're, like you said, it's hard to love anything more. So,
dude. It's like there's a whole nother version of your heart that opens up when you hold that kid, right? Yeah, it's incredible. Like I don't think you really know how to love or even know what love is until you hold your own kid. Yeah. And I feel bad for people that don't have kids. It's nothing against them if they chose not to. I'm just saying what I know for my own self is that it changed my life forever, getting to hold my daughter the first time. You know? You guys gonna have more kids?
Oh yeah.
It's early. You're 2 weeks in. Right now you're just like, hey dude, just trying not to die here.
I think we'll try to have multiple. Don't know. We'll just see how it plays out. But we want more than one for sure. So.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Dude, awesome.
All right, I got a real estate question.
Oh, a real estate question.
Yeah. Okay, so earlier I was looking online just on the C3. I was looking at how to spell your name. And it was just like a quick bio or whatever. And it said something about kind of like ranching houses and stuff like that. Yeah. All right, what's the possibility of a first-time generation farmer?
Oh, yeah, Tyrel has this dream of being a farmer.
Yeah. How realistic is that?
I think it's, anything's real. Anything's possible, right?
Like we just cut some hay. We'll sell local hay. Where should I go?
Being like a profitable.
Or do I just grow like a few corn in the backyard and have a pig and like just, that's my fix?
Well, yeah. As you know, Brian, farms are most times not profitable. You're in the red most of the time, but it comes down to, the size of the operation, smaller farms, smaller operations are tough because you just don't have that. You don't have that quantity.
Yeah.
So it's anything's possible, I guess. It is, if your equipment's paid for, you might make a little bit of money.
That's the thing.
You won't make
no
money.
Equipment. No, but that's that's really the only thing I want is the equipment.
You just want Tyrel.
I just want a tractor.
He just wants a tractor.
No, seriously, like farms are hard to, they're farms are hard to sell just because people, especially if, people have to get financing to purchase them just because, banks want to see collateral or they want to see numbers. And a lot of times, the numbers just don't make sense.
No.
So especially from a bank's perspective. So, They're tough. I mean, and it's getting harder too. You got,
Just massive ones buying up land.
you
And
got monopolies, and you got
yeah.
It's tough for the small time farmer, but there could always be a reversal, and there could always be opportunities. For someone that's willing to be creative, I think. So,
Yeah.
You'll find a place to get just that tractor, Tyrel. Just a little hay field, a little cornfield or something.
Yeah, just a little.
I don't know about, but you're so right though. Like even a cow-calf operation. Like I think if you wanted to be a first generation cow-calf operation or a small to medium farmer, I don't know if you could do it with spending the dollar the way it is today, and the cost of land per acre. Right? I mean, it's so much money per acre.
Yeah, and I know guys that have started their first generation cattle guys, like my friend Liam. He's up in Nebraska, but most of those guys have another job, full-time jobs to help support it, right? So it's not they're not full. I mean, it's you have to have a lot of times you have to have supplemental income to be able to make it work, and it's more of a passion project at that point than something that actually makes business sense. But if that's what you love, that's what you want your legacy to be, then sometimes it's worth it, right?
Yeah. For sure.
But
half those farmers don't. I mean, if it weren't for hunting leases, some of those guys. I mean, that's half the money they make is just their hunting lease at the end of the year.
Yeah. So
it's crazy, but it's it's funny. I know that's Tyrell's dream.
I'll give up on it eventually.
No, never know. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
You got nothing. That's it. Anything else, CJ, before we let you go out of here, man? I appreciate you making the time today.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm excited to see everything you're doing with Rucklist and this podcast and cool studio here. And
studio is cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think I'm
good
25 minutes away, so I can.
Yeah, buddy.
I'll have to pop in and do a workout with you again.
Yeah, we'll do it Wednesdays in the summer.
Sure.
Yep. How about gear, man? What's like your what's your two things you can't live without? Like you can't live without on the mountain.
As far as technical gear, clothes, like what
makes you happy?
Yeah, things that'll make you happy, because we all know we need binos and you need your calls and you need your basics. But what's those kind of couple things that you take that you go, hey man, new guy's coming out and he's got his basics covered, but like what's those two things that you go, here's some little pro tips? Gosh,
I think one basic one that a lot of people overlook is just a really good headlamp.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way a couple years ago. I killed a bull at dark, and I had one headlamp on me, and the batteries went out, and that was just a complete mistake. Didn't have batteries, didn't have an extra headlamp, and that was luckily my friend Thomas came up and found me, and helped me finish. But yeah, light's huge, especially as a hunter. You're working in dark a lot.
What headlamp are you using right now?
This year I ran the new Peaks headlamp, and it's awesome.
Dude.
Yeah.
That thing is gold.
Yeah.
I need to invest.
It's
I'm cheap headlight guy.
No way. You're using like the cheap, like two for pack of the Duracells.
Yeah, bones you every once in a while.
Yeah.
I always got extra batteries.
Yeah, that Peaks is amazing.
Yeah.
And there's, God, I feel horrible saying this, but a buddy of mine bought one that was just like the knockoff on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be the exact same headlamp.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which I feel horrible because those guys are cool dudes and they've done a ton of innovation for the hunting world. But if you can't afford, if you're a young hunter and you can't afford I don't know, what are they, $100?
Yeah, I mean they're a little bit more than 100,
150 or something.
Bucks,
yeah. But that's the same head, and I that thing will light up the entire woods.
Yeah, it's nice,
and it's rechargeable battery, so you can take your battery pack.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing that you're keeping your phone topped off with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I carry the extra battery, and it's rechargeable, which is nice. So, but I'm the same way. Like I've got my headlamp plus a battery plus an extra headlamp.
I still always have an extra headlamp.
I've got just a little tiny packable one that just goes on my bino harness. It lives there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough to really you would hate yourself, but you could get out of the woods with it,
So
how was battling through that?
Gosh, it was rough. It was rough. It got dark on us, and then I had a rainstorm come in on top of that. So luckily I was able to get my location out to him prior to, because my phone died as well. So it was. I didn't set myself up very in a good situation there.
Yeah.
Just really didn't have much expectation for that evening. So I think I was half half prepared.
Yep.
And anyway, like we got out, we got the elk back at like 2 a.m. and it was miserable, but not as miserable as this year in Wyoming though. That was the worst pack out I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you solo?
I shot the bull solo. My buddy Thomas drove up 3 hours to help me pack out.
Nice.
Good.
We started packing at 9 p.m. and we didn't get done till 9 a.m. the next morning.
Woo.
Oh, bro.
It was a 12-hour deal with no sleep, and that was just 5 trips back and forth. It was rough. So
that's so rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the funniest, like that whole, like, now the real work starts. And you hate when people say it, but it's like the most true statement ever in the hunting space, right? With elk.
Well, I
Dude,
think
you shoot a mule deer or a whitetail, you're like, whatever, man, I'll throw the whole thing on my back and walk out. But
yeah,
I think just so much of it gets overlooked. You know, you're so visually process of like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And you just kind of overlook.
Yeah.
The fact that you got to haul something out at the end of the day.
And you can't plan on where that's going to be, what timing's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no plan for it. So it's like, you know, it's there, but you're not visualizing it. You're not planning it the same as even the shot, right? You're like, I see the opening here or whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to walk through it.
Oh, those are the worst. I mean, me and Joel had a moment years ago where we were going to go up and shoot a cow. Like we both had cow over the counter cow tags. Let's just go get some meat. And I shoot my cow. And he's on a different ridge. We're like, well, okay, one of us is going to shoot something, you know, we'll see something moving. I shoot my cow. I'm walking up to her just to make sure. And I hear another shot on his ridge. And I'm like, please tell me he didn't just shoot a cow. And it's like the sun is setting and he's texting me, get over here, bull, cow down. And I send him a picture of mine. He just answers back. He's like, oh shit. You know, so now we're both just by ourselves cutting up a cow. We got to both then get him back to camp.
Yeah.
And the next day, you know, it's like now snow's coming in.
For
and
sure.
We're going, like, this is going to suck. You know, because it's like a couple miles down, a couple miles back up, a couple miles back down, and camp and everything. So, but I'll never forget that moment either, right?
Yeah.
Which is why we do it.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So, okay, cool. So gear, headlamp, peaks, which I agree and I love.
Very important.
And it's rechargeable. So the money you spend on the headlamp, give it 5 years and you won't spend the money on the batteries over time and you're good.
Yeah, I think, cliche, but like I'm going back and forth in my head between like a good pair of boots and a good pack.
Yeah.
You have to have a good pack and you have to have a good pair of boots.
Yep.
So I run Zamberlin, which I've ran the last several years.
Back there.
Yeah. The Lynx and I love them.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
The first pair I had the BOA system.
Yeah, I think that's the same one that's sitting back behind us.
Okay.
Here, that BOA system.
Yeah, that's the same pair I have.
Yeah. And they're great. Did you ever get nervous though because that BOA?
Well, mine broke.
Okay.
So then I sent mine back to them, and they sent me a brand new pair just with the regular strings, and that's what I run now. Just because that BOA, it did break on me.
Yeah.
And they might have made adjustments since then. That was like that was the first year they came out with it. But I don't think I'll do a BOA system again just for that reason.
Yeah. What that story? What happened? How did it?
Oh, my dad killed an elk up near Gunnison where we were hunting, and on the pack out, the BOA system blew.
So it just blew while you were walking?
So
wasn't like an impact or anything?
No, it just blew out while I was walking. Just that metal just snapped, and so we had all the string. Like I always pack string in my pack. I was like wrapping my boots just to try to.
Yeah. Just anything, because you can't like. I've always thought because you don't have like a system to run a string through those loops or anything.
No,
like once
nothing.
that breaks.
And that would be and that's what I was thinking. It'd be a good idea if they just had a backup loops,
just in loops,
do it. But so
just a hole you could. I was thinking the same thing. Like I forever carried just a repair kit, like the wire and everything. Okay. Although I have no idea how to put it together.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
So you have a repair kit for it?
I bought BOA cells like for that boot. You can buy that kit, but I always thought it was like. So those are retired because you can see through the plastic, and now it's like you can see the metal.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'll hike around the neighborhood with them, but I won't take them in the woods anymore because
they'll blow out. I saw.
There's no place to repair them. I was thinking, I always thought like
I've always been scared.
Use my knife and put holes in them or something and create laces.
But I did notice too with the BOA system, you can get tight, but you can't get it. You do loosen up when you hike.
100%.
Like you're constantly just kind of retightening,
and you can't adjust to how you lace because like. After this foot surgery this year, I've done kind of a funky lace pattern. You know what I mean? Where I skip over kind of that midfoot because it's hurt like hell. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So I still have all the support, but with the BOA,
Can't do that.
You can't skip laces and,
Mhm.
and so you can't modify how you tie the boot and you can't get it as tight.
Yeah.
It just feels like you can walk, you'll tighten it, walk
Yeah,
and tighten it, but it just never quite cinches up.
Love the convenience in the mornings, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm worried. I carry around like a quarter roll of electrical
There you
tape.
go.
That's
Yeah.
just my boot. Like,
Yeah. If you got to
if it comes down, that's what I'm going to do is just tape it.
Yeah. I mean, boots are key. Like we had a buddy we took up years ago that had, and he's like, and I always hammer guys like, all right, how's your boots? How's your pack? And it's essentially that, like your weapon, your boots, your pack, and your headlamp, like the rest, it's all necessary, but those are the things.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, these boots have lasted me a long time. They're great. And our first stream crossing we walked through, and that glue, it was gluing his sole to the tread of his boot, just fell off.
Oh shoot.
And so then we're just trying to like stitch that back on and tape it on because we're like going up to hunt. And I'm like, you can either hike back out at 6 miles, or you can just try and make this work for the rest of the hunt. It was a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah,
man.
for sure.
Yeah.
You get wet or cold feet, you're in trouble. So,
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I'd say that, or a good pack, and the pack depends on what you're doing, what kind of hunt you're doing. Obviously,
Yep.
There's a lot of different avenues we can go in that conversation, but I like a small pack, a day pack. I've been running just either doing a day pack, or I run the Airburley stock mainframe and just do a small, just do the bat wings on it.
Yeah.
And that's usually enough storage for me. And if I kill something, I can get at least one load out.
It's got a good meat shelf on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not the lightest. They just modified their pack this year.
Yeah. They just came out with a new pack.
Yeah, a new pack. Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Mine's, I would say it's not the lightest pack, but it's, it works pretty well for what I like to do. So.
Yeah. I'm the same way, like a pack that I can kind of modify, or for a long time I was using a couple different packs on the same frame, right? So I'd pack in and then take off my big pack, leave it at camp, and then just do like a little baby. It looked like basically just a kid's school bag, or even just at times I've just strapped on, just different little bags or whatever under the pack that just had enough of like my rain, my snacks, and just a couple things. So
it's amazing how freeing that is. If you just do like a small little lightweight day pack after dragging a big one around for a week, you're just like, I should, like, sometimes I like a couple years I've done that where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go with a light day pack. And then if I kill something, I'm just going to hang it and I'll go back to camp and get like a pack frame and just, I'll deal with that then.
Yep.
But I just want to be able to cover ground and move right now. So,
and I think that's probably more ideal.
Yeah.
And I've done that. Like I've hunted out of like a big, who made it? I can see the logo, but just kind of a big fanny pack. It had shoulder straps on it, but for years and years, I got away with that.
Yeah.
And you're so mobile.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just nice because that whole idea, like Tyrel just said, like, well, we hadn't dropped packs yet. And it's like, it's nice if you have just a really small pack on. You don't feel like you got to drop your pack to make that last kind of 100 yards on an animal. You just kind of keep going.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to see that Everly stock pack. I think that they're responding well to kind of what you see with, with what, Kafaru is doing in Mystery Ranch. God, there's all kinds of new guys out there doing packs. But.
Yeah. They make good stuff. I like all their stuff. I mean, I have their Bino harness as well. They came out with a few years ago.
What's
the Recon?
Yeah.
It's really super modular too. So a lot of different attachments, and it's, it's a great Bino harness as well. So I've been pleased with all their products, really.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And you can get some good deals. They always have some blowout sales at those trade shows.
Yeah. Yep. They do. And they had some good Black Friday deals that I saw.
Yep.
I think they're still running actually. So,
but I think boots are key, like, especially for a young hunter coming into it. You can get a used pack all day long. It's really easy to find a nice used pack, but I think boots is where you just don't scrimp, get a good pair of boots. Cause that's you're going to hate yourself.
Yeah.
You have bad boots in your feet.
Yeah. I think like learning the pack to what you're doing, and then kind of like modifying, like, this is kind of my pack for here. This is my pack for here. This is it. But yeah, boots is like, does kind of matter where you're going. Yeah. 2 days, 7 days.
They got to be good. Yeah.
Starts with the feet.
Yeah. Like, I'm bad about drinking water when I'm hunting too. Like I've tried hydro, the hydro pack systems, the bladders, and I just can't. It's just, so I'm usually just bringing like a Gatorade bottle full of water.
I'm the same way.
So
half the time I'm like, I just don't Gatorade bottle works.
Yeah. So that, you'd think that'd be the most important, but typically it's the last thing I'm thinking about.
Anything that hold water works well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Figure that piece out. Yeah.
Yep. Dude, nice. Well, CJ, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you taking time with us on the Reckless podcast here. You're local. You do a lot of fun stuff, so we'll have you on again for sure. I'm excited to see how life changes with that kid and where you go from there. But it won't change much. You'll drop off some things that you won't even know that are there, but you'll make room. So, yeah, man, thanks for the time. Thanks for everybody listening, putting up with my I got a little cold. I'm sorry.
A little sick.
But we're here. We're good.
Poor baby.
We get it done. I know I'm a little baby. Yeah. I'm trying to get the wife to take care of me, love on me a little bit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's not her style though.
It's this time of year.
Yeah. She's like, how about you find that basement bedroom and you go cough it out down there?
Yeah, there
and
you go.
Let me get my sleep, you know?
Yep.
So, but it's good. So guys, thanks for taking the time with us again. We'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Oodle-lolly,